If you feel your life is going absolutely crazy right now with your manifestation, that means your specific person is right around the corner. And this is because your new state or your new sense of self, your new being, is going to cost you your old state and your old sense of self. Just like Neville Goddard would say, you need to completely die to the old man. And so, what would that look like in your external reality? It would look like things changing. It would look like maybe your job changes, the people around you change, your thoughts change, your feelings change, right? It seems as if everything is going crazy just because that's the previous version of ourselves that doesn't like how everything is becoming, in essence, different. And there's actually a couple examples we can use, one from Neville Goddard that I think fits this perfectly. If we can think of the moment or the story, maybe you've heard it before, in which Neville Goddard manifested his dream job. And so, of course, his dream job was lecturing to everyone. And the moment, or one night, because he used to actually work at Macy's or JCPenney's, I don't know if you know this about Neville Goddard, but one night he was thinking, that's it. And he did what he would do in Neville Goddard fashion and went into a meditation. And the next day, you wouldn't believe what happened. He got fired from his job. At first, you would think, that makes no sense. I thought he was imagining and manifesting for success. Why would then the next day he immediately gets fired from the job? And the answer makes a lot of sense if we think of law of assumption, because of course you would imagine, or what Neville Goddard said to himself, is that of course, if he's manifesting a new job, he can't remain in the same old job. And so the next day, having him get fired from his job is actually a bridge of events taking him exactly where he wanted to go. And that's what we need to remember in our manifestation. And I actually have a metaphor I always like to bring it to as well, because I think this explains a lot of the story also. Imagine or remember the last time that you were sick. Right? You probably got a fever if you had a virus or a viral or a bacterial infection. You would say you got a fever, and that was your body's way of kind of attacking or getting rid of these negative things within your body. So why can't your reality be the same exact way? If you feel everything is going crazy, why can't that just be the fever of your new state that is trying to get rid of your old state? And that's the easiest way to imagine it, because once we can remember that, again, our new life and our new state is going to cost us our old one, then we can start to imagine and look around everything around us with everything happening and start to put it under the filter, asking the question that I always like to ask, which is, what's great about this? And I can actually give you an example of this occurring in someone's manifestation. So I was talking with someone who wanted to manifest living with their specific person, but at this moment in time, or at that point in time when they were manifesting it, they currently had a roommate, and in their apartment they only had 2 rooms. Okay, and so if you think about this essence, they don't imagine, or when I asked them about their imagination, they didn't imagine being in their end state with their specific person, but then also their roommate. And so the process, and I think you kind of know where I'm going with this, randomly one day during their manifestation, they found their roommate just got up and left. I think they were at work or something, and they came home, the keys were on the counter, all of their stuff was completely gone and completely removed from the house. And on the surface, they were thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my rent, right? That's the first thought process that happens. We feel as if things in our reality are working against us rather than the positive in which they are working for us. But to make this really long story short, days later, they ended up getting a random check in the mail from their job, giving them the rest of the rent, and a week later they end up moving in with their specific person, which on the surface, or in retrospect, you would say, well, that's obvious, right? The reality is changing. Of course, if they want to live with their specific person, then they can't necessarily have a roommate in their house at that time. But the same thing is happening in our reality or in your manifestation at this current point in time, but we're reviewing it as something that's working against us rather than working for us. In the same way that we would imagine a fever as actively working against us rather than working for us, even though we know for a fact that a fever is just our bodily reaction trying to make us healthier. So everyone, everything, every outcome that you experience in your reality as you're manifesting, and again, it's all about even contemplation. If you're thinking about being with your specific person, your reality is trying to reflect that. It's trying to give you whatever you are assuming to be. So in essence, if you're watching this video, you are in contemplation of your end state, and thus your reality must be working out for you. And so what I want you to do is just go throughout your day questioning how things occurring are actually working for you rather than working against you. Because I've said this in other videos, but when we know and understand everything is positive and there's no such thing as negative, it is only an illusion, then we start to see our reality for what it is, and we kind of work on Neville Goddard's concept of pure eyes, in which he views his reality perfectly, right? Because everything around you is technically your own assumption, if you're seeing something negative, it's only because our assumptions are negative, and that's something entirely within our control that we can change at any point in time or at any moment of the day. You can choose right now to see your entire reality as positive, and you will thus move faster on the bridge of events because you'll understand how it's working for you rather than against you. So today, when something wild or crazy happens, or within the next couple days or few days, because as you start to understand this, you will see your reality change faster, embrace it rather than reject it. Ask that simple question of what's great about this, or how is this actually working out in my favor? And the crazy thing is, you will start to see how it actually is working out in your favor rather than working against you. And you'll start to kind of think of your past and think of other situations that have occurred with your specific person, and you'll start to reevaluate them under this simple phrase and this simple idea. Just to bring it back to that specific metaphor of your body fighting off a virus, you will get a fever as you begin to change. So if things in your reality start to look weird or odd, it's only your previous sense of yourself viewing what's happening as negative because it's creating a change outside of you. Because honestly, and we all probably wouldn't react in the same way of Neville Goddard, but would we be able to act and look at our reality in the same way Neville Goddard did when he manifested his new job? Would we be able to see being fired from our job as something that's actually working out for us rather than working against us? And even Neville Goddard, I know he seems like he always reacted in the positive. He mentioned manifestation kind of being hard, in which we have to keep our thought process always on our end state. Now, not hard as I mean it's very difficult to do, but having our thoughts align with the new state is sometimes all introduced by habit. Meaning our previous version of ourselves is going to try to keep the spotlight and look at our reality through the previous sense of self or the previous lens. Meaning if you're in a state of being single before this video, and after you leave it being in a relationship and your specific person starts blowing up your phone, you will find this previous sense of self start to actually question why your specific person is reaching out to you so much. Like in my previous videos, I talked about the individuals, the 3 individuals that manifested trips with their specific persons recently, and they all kind of questioned it as well. Well, actually, two out of 3 of them questioned it, weren't really in acceptance of it. But then you would say it's only because this previous sense of self is still putting everything under that previous filter. But accept the new filter, accept the new thought process, accept the new state of being, and you'll or just ask the 2 questions. What's great about this, and how is this working out in my favor? And you'll realize it's just your body creating this fever, if you will, to then bring everything together. And the crazy thing is, I know it kind of sounds like everything has to mess up in order to correct itself, but nothing is actually ever messed up. It's actually that by understanding this idea, we understand a fever actually isn't bad at all, and then we no longer get the negative repercussions for it. Like in the same way Neville Goddard getting fired, if he thought of it as bad, thus he would have a negative reaction, but because he thought of it as positive, everything kept in a positive momentum, everything kept in alignment, and he manifested exactly what he wanted. So make sure to do this same thing with your specific person manifestation. Now, if you did have any questions on this at all, or I love kind of reframing with people together because I think it's always fun. If you do have anything to reframe, I would actually take or go to the comments and think about everything you think is not going well in your manifestation, and in the comments, write how it actually is. I know it takes time, but anyone who actually goes to the comments and does this is going to see a difference in their reality. Because most people, when we're watching these videos, think, okay, well, that would be awesome to do it. That's a good idea. But, and then we never actually do it. But literally, don't leave this video without changing it or commenting it down below, and you will see a difference in everything around you. Because once you know everything is working out for you, it's hard to return back to our previous state, because then we understand if this is working out for us, then how many other things are also working out for us in the positive. So comment that down below. If you did have any questions or had something happening that you wanted help with me reframing or anyone else to reframe, comment it down below as well, and I can definitely help out with that. If you did have any questions but didn't want to post them publicly, you can always reach out to me at kyleaugustcoaching.com. As always, thank you so much for stopping by today, and I am not going to, I know I said this in another video, but this is my new motto. I'm never going to stop making videos until every single person watching this is with their specific person, so you can hold me to that. But again, thank you so much for stopping by today. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. It really does help me out a lot. And then don't forget to subscribe, because I want to make sure every single person is with their specific person. I know it sounds like a crazy task, but I think we can manifest it together. But thank you so much for stopping by today, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.